All right, welcome back everybody to part whatever this is going to be. I haven't even started editing any of this video yet. So I'm going to start today working on this motor. This is the used one that I ordered from LKQ. So I had a few things to do on this. Today I'm going to be working on the timing chain. So I'll take the covers off, see what's going on with the old one. Either way, I'm going to take it out and I have a replacement chain and guides to install. So we'll be doing that. All right, so I'm going to start here. I'm going to start with taking off things that are on these covers, some of these old hose bits that the salvage yard left for me. All right, the clutch plate here uses a 12.9 millimeter bolt. I don't have a 12-point socket, unfortunately, so I'm gonna have to make do with this guy, which I think can work. Don't really want to turn the motor. How did I do this? Oh. Here's what we'll do. Okay, there's a clutch. It's fairly worn. I'm gonna replace it anyway. I already have a new one. Now I got this flywheel with all these bolts. Okay, these are a number 10 triple square. I bet they're gonna be tight. All right, got the flywheel off. I was using my new Harbor Freight central pneumatic air ratchet. So I just got this recently. I don't know, I'm using it on a couple things. Didn't work great for that. It didn't quite have enough power to get most of those off. They're all Loctited in. They're kind of a little bit difficult the whole way, but not that difficult. Plus this thing uses a ton of air. Even if it's not really doing much, the compressor just runs all the time. So I may go back to the old standby electric impact for all these cover bolts. So got a lower cover and an upper cover. Each one has a whole bunch of little bolts, so we'll start taking those off. See, I mean, this thing, in a lot of ways, a lot better than the little air ratchet. I don't know. Maybe they each have their own purpose. Okay, this is the timing chain tensioner. I should have a new one of those, so I'm going to take that out. I think we're almost there. Just a couple more of these little Allen bolts that are in somewhat trickier to reach spots. And we just have these two that join the lower and upper covers through the head gasket here. Okay, I think I got them all. I'm just doing a kind of double check here. So let me see if I can get something to kind of start prying it off with. They've incorporated a couple of convenient spots for this purpose, I believe, where you can get a little pry in. Yep. She's coming. Yeah, there's the upper cover. Boy, it sure is. It's pretty dirty in there. I don't know. It's a little grimy. I feel like the last motor was a lot cleaner. This one's, I don't know if they did their regular oil changes. Okay, I want to be careful of this gasket. Come on. There it is. Dirty. Boy. All right, so everything looks basically in order here. I'm not excited about how much kind of just buildup there is in here. I don't know. I'm not really experienced enough to know what to make of that. If that's good, bad, what you can do about it, I don't know. But I can tell you it's dirty. The only thing I do notice is the very beginnings of the old timing chain breakdown here, which is, let's see if I can. So this guide, you can see it's supposed to have a whole loop that comes around here, but it's broken off. There's a clean spot where it used to be behind this nut, but the whole thing's not broken yet. Maybe it's got a, oh yeah, no, it's got a crack right here, but it hasn't completely given out. So let's see what we can do to clean this up and get the old chain off. chains, and then we'll get the new ones installed. All right, the first thing we want to do here is get everything set to cylinder 1, top dead center, and then lock it in, and then we'll take the old chains off. Should be able to put the new ones on without having to go through too much craziness. So the first step here is I'm on the front of the engine. This is the drive pulley. Let's see if you can see. There's a little mark right here, and there's a corresponding notch on the pulley. So I cleaned off, I made a little clean spot here so you can see it. But so that's lined up. And we'll come up top, and since this engine is already timed, that should put our 2 camshafts with they have an end notch here, should be lined up. See if I can get my light. They should be lined up flat and then same orientation. Then I've got this little timing plate that should slide in to both of these, and I might have to adjust them just a little bit to get this in. So I can put a wrench on these and move them just a bit to get this in. So stand by. Okay, I'm just going to wiggle this a little bit just so as I can get my plate in. Okay, there's that side. Oop. Okay, in place. Put this in here just to kind of hold it. All right, so I think first I'm going to take off the guides. Well, maybe. Or maybe I have to take off this sprocket first. I don't know. We'll start taking stuff off. So there's that guy. You can see it's got a big crack. It goes all the way through here. This part's still half intact, but it was, I mean, it was right there. It had that much left holding it together before catastrophe. So this engine barely survived getting here. Okay, let's see. Chain. Does the chain come off? No. I guess I got to take this off next. Okay, I need to take this sprocket off. The issue being, so my little, remember I installed that little plate on the 2 camshafts up above that went into the 2 slots. If I had spent the money, I would have gotten a metal one, you know, piece of aluminum that fits in there and then really holds them. But what I got was a piece of plastic. So it kind of holds them there, but you can't put any force on them. If I try to turn this nut, the chain will hold the sprocket in place, but it's going to turn on the camshaft sprockets up here, and that little piece of plastic can't hold them. If I had a metal one, I could probably just crank this off, but I don't. So I gotta find some other way to hold this. Got my wrench on here. I'm gonna be moving the wrench this way. It's gonna be pulling on this chain right on here. I'm gonna hold this camshaft with the wrench. So it's gonna want to turn that way, or do this. So that way I can kind of hold it as I turn. Okay, I think this will work. Let's see. Oh boy. Sucker is tight. Ah, man, that was tight. All right, well, I got it. Only tweaked my plastic a little bit. So this is keyed. It can only go in there one way. There's that. Now let's turn our attention down here. I think this also has to come off. Let's do the guides first though. Aha! Look what fell out. I think that's the chunk that had come off of this one up here. All right, so everything's sitting here. Just should all be timed up like it was before. So now we just have to work our way backwards and put all the new stuff. One thing to mention is if you look back here, hang on a second. All right, if you look back here on the main drive sprocket, there's one tooth that's ground down a little bit. This one right here, and it might be hard to tell on video, but it's got this little piece ground off. So this one's got a square edge, square edge, square edge. This one's ground off, and that is supposed to line up with this seam in the case. There's a little edge here where the two halves of the case come together. And I noticed when I took this chain off that it was more like up here. And I went back to the front on the drive pulley where the little timing mark is, and I noticed it had moved from taking the sprocket off probably. And so I lined that back up, and that brought this right into where it needs to be. So, this corresponds with the front, obviously, because they're connected. But as I'm putting the chain on, I'll just want to be keeping an eye on this and making sure it stays lined up. So this guide, how'd it go? Like this. All right, I don't know which chain is which, but I'm guessing it will become self-evident here. I think it's the smaller one here. Hang on. I need my sprocket. You know what, folks? I think we're good right there. Got my arrow down here lined up on the notch. I got all the slack on this side where the tensioner is. This side is tight, which is good. Let me just check my little ground. The ground notch is still there. I'm just going to check the front just to be sure. Yep, that's still lined up, didn't move anything. Looks like it gets a little oil feed back here. Pull out the pin to release its tension, and I think we're good. That was pretty easy. I must have screwed something up. All right, let's move on to the top one. So this one goes something like that. Goes here. Yep. This guy comes on down here, like that. I don't know. This bolt here was hard all the way coming out, which is unusual. It's not super easy going in. I don't know what's going on with it. I guess it's not awful. Maybe there's a little Loctite in there. Okay. You know what? Maybe I shouldn't have put that on yet. I think I'll leave this one. Do I leave this one loose? I can't remember. These are the first bolts I took out, so it seems like they ought to be the last ones to put in. Right? Just leave it sit there for a second. At this point, I do need these in. We want this side tight. I want all the slack over here where the tensioner is. So let's see if I get as lucky as I did on that bottom chain. I think I basically kind of just guess where this goes. Let's see. Try it there. Maybe like that. No. It's got to be one more this way. Come on, little fella. That's what my boy Erico would say. South Main Auto Channel. Shout out. He's pretty great. Come on. It's right there. I can feel it. There it is. Yeah. Okay. I think we're in good shape. Tight there. Keyed in. Looking tight there. Slack's all over here. I think we're good. All right. So I got my book here and I got all my torque specs on this page for all these fasteners. So let's go to town. Start with this guide. It's saying 20 and 19. 15 foot-pounds. This little guy saying a mere 7 foot-pounds. That's almost nothing. Got it. This guy, also 7 on these. These guys, 7. Okay. That's that. I think this is the last one. It says 74 foot-pounds. So it does mention here that for this bolt, which is number 10, tighten to 100 Newton meters, 74 foot-pounds, and it mentions to counterhold with this special tool number 3406 on the vibration damper, which of course we don't have. So we're going to be counterholding with this. So actually I take it back. To tighten this up, we're not going to be able to use this up there because when we're tightening, we're going to be turning it this way. So it's going to be pulling the slack down this side. First of all, there's a bunch of slack, so it's going to turn a long way. And then it's going to push on this. And it's going to push it right into this seal, and that's no good. So since we're turning it this way, really we need to be holding this somehow. So here's what we could do. Let's slap this back on there temporarily anyway. All right, so we'll do that, and then we'll use this little locking tool. So we're turning this way. It's going to want to go that way. So we need our little locker to be like that. Right? Right. 74. Here we go. Come on, locker. It's locked in. I hope it can hold, because this sucker's tight. There we go. All right. I think that was good. Take this back off. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Now we do need to kind of test this by rotating the engine a couple of times and making sure everything comes right back to being in time. That's if we just do it right now without this tensioner, it's probably going to skip a tooth, because these, as the valves are opened and closed, these tend to get kind of, you know, there's tension and then there's not, and then they skip forward, and there's tension and there's not. So you really need to hold the chain tight all the time. Otherwise, when they, you know, when a valve crosses its threshold and jerks up, then they tend to move, and then you can skip a tooth. So if I had an assistant to hold this, I could probably do it. Otherwise, I could put the covers back on and put the tensioner in. For the sake of the video, I'm pretty confident that this is timed, but maybe for the sake of the video and maybe for the sake of not having to take the cover on and off, I can just put something here, like a little clamp or something. I don't know how I feel about that. What if I just use one of these little baby clamps here? I kind of feel like I'm asking for trouble here. What the hell? Let's give it a try. So first, let's not forget, I'm going to take off my plate up here. Everything ought to be free. Here we go. Just checking my mark over here. I think that was one full rotation, believe it or not. Let's check everything out here. So if we come down here, starting at the bottom, so my filed tooth is right here where it's supposed to be. This guy, well, so yeah, different things happen for different rotations, but my little arrow is now pointing up. If you recall, behind this sprocket there was an up line and a down line, so maybe that explains why. It can be on either one. And these guys, let me check if my little plate fits in. It should. Oh yeah, it fits in. So I think we're good. I'm calling this thing timed. Now all we got to do is clean up all these. So I'm going to clean up all these sealing surfaces. Clean up all this garbage, clean up the covers, and then we can put them back on. So I got my sealing surfaces all as clean as I can get them. Used a little bit of brake cleaner to get all the oil and grease off, hopefully. So I will now attempt to create a gasket. So I'm not super great at this. I feel like it's hard to do it just right, but I'm going to give it my best shot. So I don't know, I'm going to use this stuff. The right stuff. 1 minute gasket maker. There's a bazillion kinds of gasket maker. I never know if I'm getting the right one. I like this one because it's under pressure and you don't have to sit there and squeeze. So we'll see how this works out. Watch this. I'm going to be trying to make as thin a line as possible because I don't want any squeezing inside and making little bits to fall in here and get sucked into the oil system and everything else. So, I mean, it's got to be, there was almost no evidence of gasket maker on here before. A little bit in the screw holes and that's it. A little tiny bit on the outside. So I got to try to, I'll see what I can do. Yeah, here we go. It's already too thick. Oh, and here we go. It's already getting ugly. Okay, what do you guys think? How bad did I botch this? I feel like it's way too thick. But what can I do? I mean, as thin as I could get it. Wonder if I could wipe a little off. Oh man, there's way too much on here. I know you're not supposed to do this either. What a mess. There you go. That's ugly. Here we go. Let's put it on. Okay, there's that. Directions say put it on and torque it down immediately. So it's going to be all these little guys. I think these are all supposed to be 7. Okay. Now top cover. So, according to the book, you're supposed to replace this O-ring, but I don't have a replacement, so we're going to use that one. So I'm going to smooth this out again. I think it did okay on the bottom one, actually. I didn't see a bunch. There's a few places where there's a little bit coming out. There's one spot right here where quite a bit, but when I kind of evened it out, like there's a few gloopy spots, and I think if I even it out, that helps. And I'm pushing it sort of towards the outer edge too, so that if it does squeeze out, it'll squeeze out and not into the engine, hopefully. Already getting it on everything here. Come on. Come on. Ugh. Oh. How the heck did I do this before? I'm getting it on everything. There we go. Okay, great. So there's definitely some places here where you can see my excess gasket smooching out. And I can look down in there with a flashlight and see what it looks like on the inside, because I can actually see from the top. I don't know if you'll be able to see much on the camera, but oh yeah, not great. Let's see, can you see? See if I can get the light. There we go. You can see a nice fat bead of extruded gasket maker there. That's bad. Hopefully it'll kind of remain solid and not flake off. I mean, it doesn't look too huge, but that's just the one spot I can see. This side looks good. Okay, did I say we're done? We're not done. The last thing to do is install the new upper chain tensioner here. And this just gets torqued down to 30 foot-pounds. Okay, everybody, I think that's it for the timing chain. Went pretty smooth this time around. A lot quicker than the first time I did it. Everything seemed to fall right into place, so that's good. Only thing I didn't like about it was my gasket maker experience. I don't do a lot of that stuff, so I'm not great at it. It's a little sloppy. Hopefully it's still functional. So all I have left is to put on my, my coil pack, that stuff that goes on the front, get that back on, and then that's it, and a bunch of cleanup. So next I will be doing the, I think the water pump, if I've got it over there, but I'm gonna save that for another video. I think I'm done for the day. So, hey, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.